Hi guys, I'm Kat and this is Catadactyl. Welcome to my channel. If you're new here, I talk about bookish things. If you're not new here, welcome back. So today I'm doing my March TBR and I'm coming off of reading books for Black History Month in February. So my very first book is a book that I didn't quite finish in February because it is so dense, and it is Women, Race, and Class by Angela Y. Davis. Now, this is an academic study of the women's movement from the time of slavery up into the present when the book was published, so that is 1983. It really demonstrates how gender equality has pretty much always been hampered by racist and classist beliefs, and how that has woven itself into the text of history. The work itself is amazing. It is just really quite academic and very, very dense. So I did chug along the whole month of February, but I haven't quite finished it yet. So it is my first read for March. So the next book on this list is We Need to Talk About Kevin by Lionel Shriver. And we follow Eva, a mother who is trying to come to terms with the fact that her son, Kevin, has killed his classmates, his teachers, and his friends. And we follow her and Kevin 2 years later as she examines motherhood and the disintegration of a family and the mental health of her son, Kevin. And I heard that this book is really controversial, really creepy, really dark, and I'm buddy reading it with my aunt, so I think that this should be a really interesting discussion book, and I'm really looking forward to it. Dark and creepy things are kind of my favorite books to read, so I am looking forward to it, and I hope that it is as good as it sounds, because I think, yeah, 1 million copies sold. I've heard great creepy things about this book, so can't wait to read it. So the next book that I'm going to read this month is Uncommon Type, a collection of short stories by Tom Hanks. And I'm reading this for Hiroshima Book Club, and I will admit that I did not vote for it. So the reason why is because I'm always a bit dubious of books written by famous people. I'm never sure how great the quality is versus just the star power of the author. But the whole point of book club is to read books that you wouldn't normally pick up, so I am going to give it a go. And I want to see how good Tom Hanks's box of writing chocolates really is. Oh, yeah, I do love Forrest Gump, but yeah, I'm hoping the stories are good, but I just can't separate, that he's an actor and a writer, so we shall see. So the next book on this list is Cities in Flight by James Blish, and I'm buddy reading this with a bunch of different people set up by Rachel from Colonnati, and this is actually an omnibus, so it contains 4 works, and it's kind of daunting, but I think it will be fine. All 4 works were published separately originally, and now they are contained in this one volume. Blish writes about the future in a way which is both dark and bleak and beautiful. I've heard that this omnibus has anti-gravitational science and floating cities and space nomads, and I'm 100% here for it. And I'm also really excited to buddy read with people that I have never buddy read with yet. So I'm just excited on all fronts. Those cover the books that I'm reading for buddy reads and for other reasons. Now in March, I'm trying to focus on reading all the lonely book babies that I have started and not finished. So the next book on this list is The Beginning of the World in the Middle of the Night by Jen Campbell. And Jen Campbell is a booktuber, YouTuber, person that I really just admire. She talks about representation and analyzes books and literature and poetry, just everything with the written word, in a way that is just so eloquent and so lovely that I really admire and respect things that she talks about. And she also has really similar reading tastes to me. So I read a lot of books she recommends, and also when I heard that this was coming out, which is a collection of short fantasy stories, I just really couldn't wait to pick it up. So when it came in the mail, I was so excited to get it. And do you ever know when there's a book you're really anticipating reading and you really want to, but you don't want to read it because you don't want it to be over? Does that make any, do you guys do that? Oh man. So I didn't read it for about a month after I got it. And then when I finally started reading it, the first story blew my mind. It was so amazing. And I was like, no, I'm reading it way too fast. It's not that long. It's going to be over before I know it. So then I put it down and I was like, okay, calm down. And then I picked it up again and I read the second story and I was like, oh my god, it's so good. Oh my god, I'm reading it too fast. So then I put it down. But I feel like I just should really read it and appreciate it instead of just dragging this poor, lovely book out like over a very long time. So in the first story, we deal with hearts and swans and love and death and like very twisted iterations of love as well. So I'm just really looking forward to finishing this book, and this was not a case of I got bored at all. It was like I don't want to consume it too fast because it's just a lovely, beautiful baby of a book. So the next book on this list is The Growing Season by Helen Sedgwick. People, or women I should say, no longer have to have natural birth. Instead there are these things called biotech baby pouches where a baby can grow in the pouch, kind of in the fluid on the external part of a body. And the second part is the opening chapter. We are introduced to a bioluminescent aquarium in the bottom of a lighthouse that is caught in a raging storm. Okay, that's all I need to know, and it sounds amazing, and I can't wait to read it, and also the cover is so aesthetically pleasing. I'm so happy. So the last book gave me everything that I knew I wanted, and there is a range of books where they just have that extra something weird where you're like, what the F is happening right now? And those are like new weird, new finish weird, just the whole range of new weird kind of that you'd see in The Vor by Brian Catling, or In the Miso Soup by Rumi Murakami, or anything, apparently, by China Mieville. So I've heard nothing but great things about Perdido Street Station, which he wrote, so I picked up The City and the City by China Mieville, and wow, it is so weird, but in like a very good way. So we follow Inspector Theodore Borlu as he travels between two different cities that overlap each other. One of which is a dazzling version, and the other one which is like the sordid underbelly. And I read this while I was stuck in a Chinese airport, and I was reading it and really intrigued when I was in the airport, and then as soon as I got out of the airport, I was like, you know, distracted by other things. So I'm really looking forward to get back to it, and it is, like I said, very weird, and it's a very interesting concept of cities being overlaid, kind of superimposed on top of each other. And it has just enough like what the fuck spice to keep it very interesting, and the writing style is also very unique. I'm not sure if like the cadence is like exactly to my liking, or if it's one that you just get accustomed to like the more that you read of this author, so we shall see. So the next book on this list is All You Need Is Kill by Hiroshi Sakurazaka, and this book was recommended to me by a friend, and it is a translated work, and we follow Keiji, who is a soldier that wears a modified armor suit. And in this world, these suited men battle monsters. However, every time you die in battle, you are basically reborn, reincarnated, to go right back out and fight and die again. So on the 158th reincarnation of Keiji's life, someone appears and could possibly change everything. So the reason I put it down is because I was a bit bored after the fourth time Keiji died. I was like, okay. Yeah, I'm really intrigued by it, and I'm on the fence about how good I think it will be in the end. So the next book on this list is The Wasp That Brainwashed the Caterpillar by Matt Simon. And this is a book that I picked up on the recommendation of Hannah from beginning to bookend. She is so well spoken, and a lot of her books are just fascinating, and I don't see really other booktubers talking about them, so I will leave the links to her booktube down below if you'd like to check her out. And in this book, Matt Simon writes about the weird and fascinating and disgusting and kind of quirky things that animals have developed to deal with being alive in the world. So each chapter, it's more like a page or two, is dedicated to each weird animal. And there are illustrations, for instance, and then it will talk about the animal. So this book has like zombie bug viruses and tongue-eating worms and just a lot of things where if you are really into science and you really like weird things, this would be amazing. And I really, really am enjoying this book. One of the best things about this book is that Matt Simon is freaking hilarious, and it's really easy to read in short little snippets which is why it kind of got away from me, because I was reading little pieces here and there, and then eventually I just like tapered off and read something else in its entirety. So I'm really looking forward to get back to it, and I can't wait to see what other weird things are in this book. So the last book in this list is also nonfiction, and it is Ikigai by Hector Garcia and Francesc Miralles. This book I picked up because it examines a Japanese word, Ikigai, which roughly translates to the reason for living. And it really focuses on the intersection between passion, a space in the world where people need what you are going to offer, something that can make you money, and the reason that you would get out of bed in the morning. And it also goes into how finding your Ikigai could possibly prolong your life. And it talks about that in terms of Japanese society and also looking at longevity in more global communities. So this book is fascinating. I made it about halfway through, lent it to a friend, and now I have it back. So it's going to be, I think, an amazing read, and the cover is just gorgeous, and I can't wait. So yeah, here's to longevity. So that finishes up my March TBR. Please let me know what you thought, or leave me any comments if you have questions. What are you guys reading for March, and do you do the thing that I do where you leave poor little abandoned unfinished babies just lying around, and then you see them and you feel like a little guilty and you're like, oh, I should finish it, but then you just get like distracted? I'm sure that's gonna happen. So I know that there are some amazing books coming out this month that may possibly distract me from these books, but I am gonna try and finish them. I'm gonna do my best, but if some sneaky ones come in, do not be surprised. Yeah, so I'm just gonna say bye for now. Thanks for watching so much. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up or hit the subscribe button, and I will chat to you later. Toodles!